Today, I want to talk about the law of attraction, how it works, how it doesn't work, and what so many people get wrong about it. I'm Keith. Let's dive right in. We get tons of information coming at us through our senses every second of the day and night, but we only notice certain information. Only a certain amount of it comes up into consciousness. And that's because we have a filtering system inside our minds which decides what we need to pay attention to and what we don't. And there's a couple of different processes it uses in order to make those decisions. One is emotional content. If a piece of information has a high emotional content, it tends to come up into consciousness and we pay attention to it. If a piece of information disagrees with our currently held beliefs, we tend not to pay attention to it. So let's explore those and how they interact with the law of attraction. I once worked with a client and he wanted to make more money. And when we explored what it would be like for him to make more money, he didn't have a good feeling about it. The reason is he had a belief inside that more money meant that he had to act a different way. He had to be stuffier, more formal, and he couldn't be the maverick that he loved to be. So we worked with him on that belief, and we got rid of that belief, and he got a new job making a lot more money, and he still had fun at it. Now, how did that work? The fact is that in a company newsletter, before he came to see me, he had seen a posting for a job being higher up in the company. And he thought, well, that's not for me. And he didn't take it. After the session, he saw the job offer again, he put in an application, and he got it. Now, how did that work? The reason that he did not do it before is because he had a negative feeling about it. The negative feeling was driven by the belief that the higher paying job wouldn't be fun. And that's the way it works. We have information coming at us, and if we have a negative feeling about it, sometimes we reject the idea. When you shift your belief, then you have a different feeling about the information. Now, he discounted this information before because it didn't match with his idea about how he wanted things to work. And we've all seen it on social media, people shouting their beliefs in an echo chamber. Hardly anyone changes their mind. One of the roles of the system of the mind for filtering information is that typically it rejects information that does not agree with currently held beliefs, especially if those beliefs are more core, more central to us. Especially if someone's sense of identity is tied up in a belief, they will reject any evidence to the contrary. You know this is true. So how did this session work and why did it work out? Because we shifted the belief. Once we shifted the belief that said you can't have fun and make money, then he began to see a future in which he could make money and have fun. And then the feelings about things changed. So when he saw the company newsletter with the job opening, he had a different feeling about it. And that motivated him to apply. Now, this is the way the law of attraction works. A belief shifts, then your perceptions shift, and feelings shift, and then you're motivated to do something you wouldn't have been motivated to do before. Another example of this system is the first time I ever decided to buy a property. I had a discussion one night. The day before, I hadn't been thinking about buying a property. And there was a discussion in the evening, and we decided to buy a property. And the next day, I saw real estate signs everywhere. I had not seen those signs before. I hadn't seen them. My filtering system didn't think they were important, so they just blocked them out. Next day, real estate signs were everywhere. It seemed like magic. It seemed like those real estate signs appeared for me. And that's what so many people get wrong about the law of attraction. It seems like magic, it feels like magic, but it's not. It's simply the filtering system in your mind that's calling up different information for you to pay attention to. Just leave all the woo-woo bullshit behind. You don't materialize stuff with your mind. It's not like Star Trek where if you just get the right mental focus, the thing appears in front of you. Ask any law of attraction practitioner to materialize a unicorn by snapping their fingers. They can't do it because it doesn't work that way. It's not magic. It works a different way. Beliefs. perceptions, feelings. So here's the deal. We all know people that ignore the evidence in front of them. Their belief would have to shift in order for them to see or perceive the information in some way, right? Well, that's what happens with the law of attraction if you do it right. And let's take an example. Suppose there's a group of people in a law of attraction meetup, and they're thinking about making more money. No, let's make it, they're thinking about relationships, getting a wonderful relationship. It's a single law of attraction people. Okay, so they're all visualizing in their mind the perfect relationship. Well, if one person has the belief inside that, let's say, all of the kind of people that they're attracted to are not good people, like all men are pigs, for instance, then when they're visualizing this, that belief is going to kick in, and it's going to create a negative feeling about attaining that belief, because who would want that, right? So then, are they going to be motivated when they think of the goal? Are they going to be motivated to do something? No, they aren't. However, once the belief is shifted that, say, for instance, there are good men and not so good men, or everybody's a mixture of some good or some bad, whatever the belief shift is, then they might have a different set of feelings when they're visualizing the goal. And when they go out into the outside world, they're going to perceive different things than they would have before the belief shifted. And so it seems like magic. Suddenly there are opportunities for money or relationships that weren't there before. But it's not magic. It's a shift of your belief system. And then again, the belief system causes a shift in feelings. The feelings cause motivation toward the goal. Or they can if it's all aligned. Now that brings me to a point that I wanted to address here. The law of attraction does not tap into some sort of metaphysical realm. It doesn't tap into an alternate dimension. None of this stuff happens. It's all through shift in belief systems, perceptions, and feelings. Now, the other side of this is that you interact with the real world after your belief has shifted. The possibilities in life are much, much greater than many people imagine. However, there are limits. Again, no matter how much you focus on it, no matter how perfectly you do it, you cannot instantaneously materialize a unicorn. I keep trying that. It keeps not working. You can't. There are laws of physics. And let me talk about this as an example of expanding your mind into what is really possible. You take a guy like Elon Musk. Now, I'm not saying he's a good person or a bad person. I don't know. I don't know if he's good for the world or bad for the world. But he has an expansive mind that can consider incredible possibilities. And it's based in science and engineering. Woo! He doesn't think you can snap your fingers and materialize a unicorn. If he does think that, it's through some scientific advancement that we haven't made yet. He takes what he knows about science and engineering, what we know, and he projects it into the future and says, I think we can do this remarkable thing. But it's really grounded in reality plus projection into imagination. But it's not grounded in this thought that we can magically create things with our minds. It's grounded in the thought that we can magically create things with engineering and people with knowledge and people that understand engineering and chemistry and physics and how to take those beyond where they are right now. He knows how to do that. A lot of the stuff that he tries fails, and some of it works and is remarkable. So listen to me. The law of attraction is about shifting beliefs. It's about shifting perceptions as a result of that and feelings as a result of that. And it's also about programming. Because programming is, it's what hypnosis and NLP are all about. It's about focusing on something and making it real in your inner mind. And that's a message to your inner mind to create the reality in the outside world. Once you do that, once you create the internal reality, you start to perceive things differently in the outside world. You see opportunities that you didn't see before. You see paths. You see possibilities that you didn't see before. You experience the world differently, and you have the right feelings attached to yourself to motivate yourself to actually take action to create the things that you have envisioned. And you still have to interact with the laws of physics, the outside world, the situation that's going on right now. You cannot wish yourself to be 7 feet tall or to live on Jupiter without any sort of helmet and oxygen system. It's not possible. Not everything is possible. You have to work within the limits of how we live in this universe. Those limits are far, far bigger. Well, I mean it the opposite way. The limits are smaller. We have the capability to do so much more than most of us ever do. However, there are limits there. I hope you've enjoyed this. If not, I hope I offended you and your woo beliefs, because the woo-woo beliefs that are in the world right now are so damaging to us, and we got to get rid of them. We got to have reality-based thinking and bigger, more audacious goals. I'm Keith from hypnosis101.com. We'll